You can tell that I'm excited. And because we're doing something today that most people do not necessarily do or people haven't seen. We're talking about farmers and we're letting them tell their story and show us how important they are to us surviving COVID and surviving post COVID. You know that. Farmers are the unsung heroes. I mean, if you won't survive without food, you won't survive without nourishment. The health workers won't be able to do the work of combating COVID without food and nourishment. And that's why this section is quite dear to me, and I'm so happy that I'm leading this conversation. This conversation is brought to you by Support for Africa SMEs, and this is just a group of people who are passionate about African entrepreneurs and African small businesses, and knowing that there is a looming financial crisis as a result of COVID. We've come together to put resources and create access to the right kind of information that will help you, the African farmers and African entrepreneurs, succeed. Today we're going to be interviewing two people. Trying to get one of them is already online. Yeah, Okorode, you'll have to send me a request. Give me a second while I try to add him into this. So we're going to have two farmers talk to us about the work they are doing. Two brilliant, amazing farmers who have farms at various places in Nigeria. One in Bayelsa, another one in Nasarawa State, and huge farms from plantain to rice and the likes. Hi Jessica, hi Victoria, hi Fisayo, hi Shegun, how you doing? Still trying to get.
Okay, guys, how you doing? My name is Okorode Christian, the millionaire farmer. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay. Yeah.
what do you do? What kind of farm do you have?
Okay. I have over a 10,000 plantain suckers farm, which is at Bayelsa State. I also help people to set up their profitable farms. I have trained over 4,000 youths in terms of agriculture, and also I've been able to be someone that has been there to inspire people to see the need for going into farming, not just farming, but playing a major role in the agricultural sector. Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, I'm a official award nominee. That was in 2017.
Amazing, yeah. Amazing. So what motivated you to begin this journey? Why agriculture?
Okay. Whenever that question has been asked, sincerely, I want to say that two things, basically. First, it's a God-inspired idea. I have never in my life thought that I will go into farming because it was never part of my list, okay? But doing NYSC, there was this train called Saeed. When it was going on, there was this idea that came up and like, okay, I really need to be part of this class, and I got there and I just realized that that is what I want to do. And then secondly, I went into agriculture to help contribute in solving hunger, food shortage, and unemployment problems in my region, that is the Niger Delta, and then spreading it across Africa.
Interesting. And so since you began, what are your successes? Can you tell us, the gains you've made?
Okay, first and foremost, it is the recognition, okay? I just get to realize that in this part of the world and perhaps all over the world, there is this respect people have for farmers, basically. Those days are gone when farming is for those that are good for nothing. Let me use that word per se. I've been able to meet highly influential individuals in the world, and then I've been able to also stand as an influencer and also as a change maker in my community. Not just that, I've been able to be an employer because my farm currently have people that work there and I pay them. So by the virtue that I pay someone that works in my farm, it simply means that they literally have to take care of their family. So I've been able to serve as an as an employer of labor going into agriculture. There are just so many benefits that I just cannot mention now. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So let's get into the nitty gritty. What are the challenges you face as a farmer?
Okay. I will start as my personal story. Okay. When I went into the agricultural space, I got the idea of going into agriculture, and the first thing that came to my mind is how much will I make? And that is what most people always have in mind. Oh, agriculture is profitable, farming is profitable. There is no doubt about it. But one of the challenges that I faced was a lack of adequate knowledge. Let me put it that way, a lack of adequate knowledge, and most people face it. They just jump into agriculture with little or no knowledge, and it cost me a lot. And then also, one of the challenges that I faced personally was getting capable hands to work with. I came from the Niger Delta, and my farm is at the Niger Delta. I don't know about other parts of Nigeria and Africa, but getting people or getting youths that are going to work in your farm, it's quite difficult. So sometimes I have to bring people all the way from the north to work in the south. So it is quite expensive getting capable hands to work and farm, and that is a challenge. And then also, in my case, I don't see funding as a challenge because I was able to raise some money with just using Facebook, okay? But yes, but I feel that funding is also a major challenge that most farmers face because you cannot make massive wealth in agriculture if you don't invest massively in agriculture. Yeah. Insecurity, people come to your farm and they steal your produce, so you have to set up some structures in your farm, like build a farmhouse, put guards in there. And also, when you're taking your produce to the market, there is a challenge because you have to settle the police officers on the road. Now it got to a point whereby while we are taking our produce to the market, or when we want to take our seedlings to go and plant, we have to get a police escort, so police will not harass us. So these are some of the challenges that farmers face.
Seeing the amount of challenges you faced and how you've creatively, would I say how you've surmounted some of them creatively? I mean, for funding, you did some sort of crowdfunding on Facebook, right? And for security, we
Absolutely.
had to get creative with using security personnel. How do you think the government can? What do you think the government can do to support farmers?
Okay. The first thing is to create policies. Policies because there are I don't think that there are policies that are there to protect farmers. Like, okay, fine. Farmers, when they're taking the produce to the market, must not pay certain amounts of levy, because sometimes when you want to even start a farm in a particular community, you have to settle all of the community leaders, and then you also have to settle also the security. So if government could come up with policies to really get to protect farmers, that is the first step. And then the second step is to make sure that funds are literally available for farmers. Now, real farmers. Unfortunately, unfortunately, we live in a society where we don't have concrete data of people or those in particular sectors, most especially in the agricultural sector. We don't have the list and the names of farmers. So even though government wants to empower farmers per se, they don't know who are the real farmers, because I am sure that funds are being disposed every year for agricultural purposes, but these funds don't get to the hand of the real farmers. So this fund just go to the hands of people that are not farmers at all, or people that get the funds but don't use the money. So government have a role to play. First, in terms of policies, and then secondly, in terms of implementations of these policies, because it is one thing to create policies and then another thing to actually implement policies.
Very true.
Yeah.
Interesting. What would you say is the role of collaboration in the agricultural sector? I work with quite a number of farmers all across Africa, and I see that one thing they really struggle with is finding creative ways to collaborate. How do you think farmers can approach this?
Okay. Just a few days ago, I was talking to a set of persons that I train, about 200 of them, and I was telling them that in the business of agriculture, collaboration is the new gold. In fact, is the gold itself. This is because there are farmers that have expertise but don't have funds, while there are people that want to invest in agriculture but don't have the expertise. They could actually get to collaborate and build something to solving hunger, food shortage, and unemployment problems, and then also get to benefit massively. Now, this is it, okay? There are farmers that have hectares of land, but they don't have funds. It is good that they actually get to collaborate with those that don't have land, but they have the means in terms of cash to actually get to produce. And also, I have come to understand that the value chain in agriculture is very wide, that based on World Bank, it actually states that the agricultural sector can create job for 90% of the population of Nigeria, and that is true. This does not simply mean that everybody has to be a farmer. There are problems in the agricultural sector. Most especially, one of the problems that we have in the agricultural sector is the issue of transportation. Okay? The cost of transporting a product from Bayelsa to Abuja sometimes is even more expensive than buying the product itself. So individuals or firms can actually get to come together and create a transportation means whereby, or build an app whereby when a farmer have a product anywhere, they can send an SMS and it will reflect in the app or a particular platform, and the off-taker also get to know that, oh, this particular farmer have a product, and the company, which is the logistic company, will go to the farmer's farm, pick up this product and take it to the off-taker's factory or anywhere that he wants it. So this is part of collaboration, you know. Yeah.
So one of the questions Victoria is asking, one of the viewers, is what's your take on food wastage and how can collaboration help resolve that?
Okay, fine. You see, I have come to understand that there are several warehouses that are actually abandoned in this part of the world. One of the ways to solve food shortage is to build a place where farmers can comfortably store their products at a relatively less expensive price, and their product can be preserved till when anyone wants to get it. That is one. Then also, people could build factories, processing factories, that whenever a farmer have a product, which I said earlier on, there is a means to transport this product, irrespective of where this product are, to the factory directly. Thirdly, most farmers are the cause of this wastage because they produce what they cannot sell. And the fact that people eat food does not mean that everyone is going to buy your agricultural product. Does not mean that there is a market for you to sell. Sure. So the first thing that you as a farmer should do to actually curb food wastage is to first and foremost find a market for your product, so that once you produce and it is time for harvest, you will not be calling people, moving about on how to sell your product, because it has happened to me also. You know, there was someone that lost millions because he couldn't sell a 15 hectares of cassava farm, and it lost money. So that is just it. Yeah.
Interesting. Seeing the way COVID is affecting the world and affecting Africa especially, what are the impacts? What impact has it had on farming? You know, restriction of movement, the people not having enough money to spend. How has it affected you in terms of?
Okay, I think that one of the things that the government, that is at all level, could have done at this period is to also make farmers part of the essential service providers, because as it stands, there are farmers that cannot access their farm. I have talked to several farmers that that cannot go to their farm to feed their birds because there is restriction of movement, and this will cost them more in terms of cost. So government should actually get to make sure that farmers have free passes to their farm. Farmers have the pass to actually take their product even to houses, because as it stands now, people need to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the persons that are going to feed these people are not robots, they are farmers. So you need to allow these farmers get access to their farm and then also take their product to anyone that needs them in the communities or anywhere that they are. Then also, in terms of, though there are some areas whereby farmers are actually allowed to move about, however, we still face the problem of security exploitation. So, for example, if you know Port Harcourt, if you are taking your product from Omagua Airport down to Mile 1, and the cost of transporting it is 500 naira, you are sure of paying nothing less than 500 naira also to security personnel for them to allow you pass, even when farmers in that area are said to have passes. So these are some of the challenges that the COVID stuff has actually imposed on farmers and agriculture.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all the things you've said. I have to apologize first from my end because I got your name wrong. Okorode Christian. I was calling you somebody else's name that I had down on my notepad. Thank you so much for sharing so much. And what is your final word for people that are interested in delving into the agricultural sector? Now, maybe not just farming, but that whole value chain. What do you advise?
Okay. First and foremost, the first thing that I always say is seek knowledge first. Irrespective of the aspect of agriculture that you want to dive into, whether it's farming or processing or any of the value chain, seek knowledge first. Don't just go into agriculture because it is profitable. Yes, it is profitable, but first you have to seek knowledge. And then secondly, you have to identify the problems in the value chain of agriculture. Now, this is something that I always tell people, that agriculture is profitable. However, there are a lot of challenges and problems in the agricultural space, which is a good thing. My brother, it good well. This is because whenever there are challenges or whenever there are problems in a particular space, it simply means that, one, there is need, and secondly, there is money to be made. Tell me, who does not like money? Then thirdly, there is impact to be made. So these three things. First, there is need to be made meet. Secondly, there is money to be made. And then thirdly, there is impact. So find a problem in the agricultural space and play majorly in it. And then thirdly, I actually want to say this. Agriculture is very vast. And the truth is that no one can say he knows everything in the agricultural space. So my advice to someone that wants to go into agriculture is, if you have identified a space that you want to play in, or if you have identified a niche that you want to play in the agricultural space, if it is plantain, or if it is logistics, if it is palm tree farming, make sure that you milk that niche that you have picked. Because in one particular niche that you pick, there are thousands of value chain in it. For example, plantain that I play in, plantain can be processed into different formats. And you can make money in just selling the suckers of plantain, just selling the bunch of plantain, and then plantain stem itself can be used to plant other crops. Also, plantain can be processed into book, this book that you see. And there is a guy in Nigeria that actually processed plantain into sanitary pad that ladies use.
Interesting.
So the value chain is very vast. In fact, those that like wine, plantain can be processed into plantain wine and juice. And it's just vast. So if you want to go into agriculture, make sure that you seek adequate knowledge. Secondly, find a problem and then play massive in a particular niche that you find yourself, and then don't forget, collaborate, because it's the gold in this new age.
Thank you so much, man. I've learned so much. I'm definitely going to go back and re-listen to this video and pick out the things you've said. You've said so much, and we salute you. We salute the work you are doing, because without you, without food, we will not survive. So thank you so much for joining this live, and keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on succeeding, and trust me, we all support you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for the honor. Yeah.
So it's been great having our first interview. We're going to go on to another farmer who, majors in rice farming. And I saw him online a few seconds ago. I want to see if he's here. Okay, let me add him up. So you guys can see how important farming is, and, what can be done in that sector, in the agricultural sector. There's so much. So we have Goru Wilson here. Wilson, how are you doing? Good afternoon or evening? Can you introduce
good evening
to us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely, we can hear you.
Okay, all right.
All right. So introduce yourself to us.
Okay, my name is Goru Wilson. I'm a photographer. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a farmer. Even though I don't play I don't run the farm day to day, but I'm a farmer.
Okay, so tell us about your farm. Where's your farm located? What's the size of the farm? What are you into? Is it yeah? So go on.
Okay, yeah, I am an investor in the Nigerian Farmers Group. It's a cooperative society which is leveraging on the power of crowdfunding to tackle the issue of food shortage and explore the agricultural sector. Now we have our major farm is in Nasarawa. It's in a place called Gate in Gokana local government in Nasarawa state. We have another farm settlement in Adamawa also. We're into a lot. It's an integrated farm. We do livestock, we do crop, cash, and we do processing. We have our own brand of rice, which is called the Gate Gold.
Okay. So what are the lessons you've picked over the last? How long have you done this, first of all? And what are the lessons you've picked while doing this, while investing in agriculture and running your farm?
Okay, actually, the journey into agriculture started, I would say, long ago, but making it a reality was as a result of interaction with other persons that has that would have shared the same passion and the need for Nigeria to feed herself. The journey started in 2017, around February, and we came together. We all met online. Most of us are from Facebook and stuff, and we started discussion, and we're like, okay, we think we can make this work, because that period was when the whole MMM thing crashed, and we're like, if Nigerians can pull as much as 3 to 4 billion naira into a scheme that wasn't really creating any type of physical value or solving the real problem that we face, which is food shortage and all that, why can't we leverage on this same idea to pull resources together and go into a proper farming? And that was what we did. And people were skeptical at first. People were skeptical about the whole concept of crowdfunding in agriculture, but we did that, and I must give kudos to my team. Like, I've never seen my coordinator and my farmer. I've never seen somebody so dedicated like Mr. Rexon Chedeke. He's so dedicated. Like, when at a point we all had doubts with this work, he said, no, we're going to face this head on. Like, we're going to face this head on. And we did. And so far, even with the struggles that we faced in doing agriculture, we enjoy and see the results of what we've been doing, and we see it and we say, oh, kudos to us. So we started very small, farming just less than 10 to 15 hectares for our pilots. And as I speak to you now, we have over 3,000 hectares of farmland being cultivated now in less than 24 months. So that's what we've done. And sometimes when we say these things, people don't believe it. When you say this, people don't believe it, because I think that was what even led so many visitors, because we've received a lot of visitors in the farm, because when they hear our story, like, how can you start so your farm is barely 2 years old and you people have achieved a lot? Yes, it's painful, but we've been able to leverage on the fact that you could pull resources and manage these resources very well. It's not about pulling resources. When you pull resources, you manage them very well. That is why any day I sit down and I say, I celebrate the whole team of NFGCS, because from the workers to the community to the management staff and everybody, I celebrate them every time, because it doesn't, so many persons have gone into this and they failed. So it's all about proper management and how how dedicated you are into the cause. Because I won't lie to you, no Nigerian farmer is enjoying. All Nigerian farmers are crying.
Why did you say that?
Okay, we are crying because I will give a simple story. For example, people were saying, okay, during the whole rice ban last year, when we brought out our rice, people were asking me, why are we not selling cheaper than the so-called foreign rice? If we are processing this rice here, why are we not selling cheaper than the so-called foreign rice? And I said there are a lot of factors that affect the pricing. First of all, let's start from the farmer in Thailand is getting loan at single digit. But me, I struggle to get loan without any government support at 25%, 30%, as the case may be. That is one. Two, we're talking about farm machineries. For you to get anything from the government, we know how expensive these equipment are, from planters to bulldozers that will clear your farm, to plowing machine, to harvesters, to processing machines and all that. These things are expensive. If you dig like a 100-ton capacity rice processing mill, it will cost you over 60 to 70 million naira to set up. So taking out things from your operation cost, you know what that is. And we're not taking this money because we have it in abundance, or we have somebody that is giving me a loan at the rate of 5%. I have to struggle with a Thailand farmer that is getting his loan for 5% and pay 5 times the amount of interest that person will pay. Our banks are not helping. Let's just forget about it. Our banks are not helping. The whole support for agriculture is just a sham. That's what I say, because the real farmers don't get to assess this thing. You're telling me I'm looking for 25 million naira to put into my farm. You are telling me to go and bring a collateral of 500 million naira. If I have it, I will sell it and go and do my farming. It's because I don't have it, that's why I'm looking for support. So we are not. When you talk about that, then we talk about what we suffer in the hands of middlemen, or when trying to sell our produce. When there is a glut, they come, they pay you whatever you want, because we don't have off-takers. The CBN, through the Uncle Growers scheme and NISA, they were supposed to provide some sort of off-taking arrangement for farmers to ease us. Because if there's an off-taking arrangement, I won't have to be at the mercy of a middleman who will come to them and tell you, market bad, now so we go buy them. And you don't have storage facility to even store these things. Like our first year of farming, when we did maize, the store we stored our maize, they made more money than us that did the farming. You can see the pain of a Nigerian farmer. So we have to look at these things. We have to solve the issues of storage, infrastructure. Like where we have our farm today now, we virtually constructed a road leading into this place. Even though it's an earth road, we virtually constructed that road. We did all by ourselves. We gave them water. We gave them, we had to give them a community center. These are all the things we did because we needed the cooperation of the community for us to succeed. And it has really helped us a lot. Because in analyzing farming in other places, if you don't have a good relationship with your host community, you're definitely going to have issues. So these strategies have helped us. They've helped us to have like a seamless operation. You understand? So the Nigerian farmer is not smart. The Nigerian farmer needs support, real support. The Nigerian farmer needs farm machineries. The Nigerian farmer needs off-taking agreements. The Nigerian farmer needs processing equipment. Provide these things. Not be say we not go pay, we go pay, but provide them.
Yeah.
It's expensive for me. If not for the support that we've had from, there are a few fintech companies. There's a fintech company that has given us massive support, which is Kia. When we started, they gave us, this is the land. How are you guys going to start up? We needed to start something, so upcoming investors are going to see something. Kia gave us 1.5 million naira for us to use as our start of capital to open up that place and for people to see what we are doing. I cannot start naming what they've done for us in terms of providing emergency funds for us to run the farm so many times. So these are the things. If we had our commercial banks providing these things for us, because Kia is just a small, is a fintech company that has limits to what they can offer.
Yeah.
But if we have commercial banks that can bring something tangible for us, they think the amount of the kind of money we are looking for. Like the vice president was in our farm in November last year, and he said he has heard our story, and he decided to come and see for himself if this thing was just a social media hype or anything. And he came and he was like, so this is happening. If I tell you, the governor of the state never knew there was such a big farm in his state until the vice president informed me he was coming, and he had to come as an advance team to come and see what was on ground. And it was marveled and like, wow, so you people could pull this through. So the Nigerian farmer is not smiling. We need government support. We need government support. I can continue shouting about this every time. We need government support. As in, the commercial banks should stop giving this so-called CBN agri loan to political farmers. The ones that don't own any piece of land, or the ones that will just have 5 hectares somewhere and they are the one accessing agricultural loans. Give we the real farmers agricultural loans. We the real farmers. I can't. If we want to start talking about that, it's a topic that we can discuss for the next 2 days.
Yeah, interesting.
Because it's crazy.
The previous speaker actually sort of preferred a solution to this loan thing. We need to have an updated farmers register. I mean, where are the farmers exactly in Nigeria?
Oh, okay. The thing is, the Millennium Farmer was saying something about having a database.
Yeah.
Yes, that is something. We need to have a database of farmers and all that. Should I tell you that we are so structured that there was a time, like our first year into farming, we're like, okay, the president has said which Nigerians should go back to the farm. We went back to the farm. And they were like, oh, there is provision. NISRA is going to come and give you support and all that. We pursued NISRA, and it got to a point. We said to ourselves that if we continue pursuing these people, the people don't know the timeline for agriculture. Like, for example, I want to plant maize. I have a timeline that I should use to plant maize. Do you know NISRA came to visit my farm when that was 8 weeks after we've planted. That was when they even came to even see the farm. Not that they haven't come in to even tell us that, oh, we are giving you certain amount of support now. They just came to visit us. So if we have been waiting for NISRA, we wouldn't have done anything.
Sure.
So the issue of having database, we as a cooperative now, we have database of our members and our investors. We have database of our staff strength. We have over 315 active staffs in that farm. We have a database, and the way we have structured this thing, if you call us today and say, who are the farmers here? It's just to send you an email. We have that database. Yes, there is need for us to have a central database of all farmers. You understand? There is need for us to have that. But that's not really the important thing. The thing is, where is the will? I won't lie to you. The government is trying in its own way of trying to support agriculture. But the implementation is what we are talking about. I could remember this thing. I want to say it. And it's so sad. We had to write, I used to tell people this, and I tell people, test the system, always test the system. We tested the system at a point, we got an approval for a tractor and all that. So I'm speaking to you now, because somebody wanted to collect bribe, and we refused to give that bribe. Our approval letter got missing. We did not have access to that tractor till date. But in the eyes of the minister or whoever that made that said, they will say, okay, we have given farmers tractors. We have given, yes, they have really given. But did they get to the farmers? No. So it's not, we have to look at how to solve these issues of implementation. There's a fantastic agricultural policy, but are the real farmers getting this needed support that they should get? We are not.
Interesting.
Are the real farmers getting it? We are not getting it. I have to, as I'm speaking to you now, we are constructing one of the biggest man-made dam in our farm, because where we are farming, at a certain time of the year, we experience drought. Am I supposed to be constructing a dam? No. That makes my job more difficult. And the cost of me trying to achieve this will translate into my selling of my produce. It will make food more expensive for us. If we're really genuine about this thing we are talking about, is get these things, get them to the real farmers. We're talking about not that somebody that has 7 fish ponds behind his mansion is the one that is having access to NISRA loan. Why? If we want to be sincere with ourselves, why?
Wow.
Go to the various Ministry of Agri stores. You will see irrigational facilities. You will see processing machines and all that, but they're not getting to the people that really needs it.
Yeah. Actually, this is actually a real problem, and I think it cuts across all sectors. But fact is, we cannot keep on waiting for the government. So what do you advise in terms of collaboration? How can farmers decide or come together and say, hey, the government is not giving us what we need to do, what we need to succeed? How then can we make it work? How then can we even advocate together?
Okay, yeah, like you said, with the issue of collaboration has helped us a lot, because the whole process of NFGCS was as a result of collaboration. We have collaborated with people in the finance sector. We have collaborated with people from other sectors to make this thing work. Like when you talk about, there was a time after our first year of farming, we learned a lot. You understand? We learned a lot, and we sat down and said, see, we need to re-strategize. There are persons that bought harvesters that cost over 40-50 million naira. They are using them themselves. Why not we meet these people and say, okay, after using your harvester, can you let us use it for a fee? And that has helped us a lot. We have done a lot of collaboration, and that is helping us. But there is still more to do. There is still more for us to do in terms of collaboration. But collaboration is just a solution to everything. I've always said this thing. If you want to succeed in doing business in Nigeria, not just even farming, don't rely on the government. Don't just do that. If the day you do that, that is the day you dig your grave. Because, for example, now, if we relied on government, on that in our first year of farming, now if we relied on government, we would have waited and not planted maize that year, because NISRA that was supposed to bring support for us came when our maize were 8 weeks old. You could paint that picture. You see how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
These things function with time. So if you look at the bureaucratic nature of governance in Nigeria, don't just dare go to
Don't put all your eggs.
Put them as the forefront. Don't do it. You can have them as yes. Like last year, we've been able to access some few things from them, like machines that we have gotten for like for example 100 million. We could get them for 70 million, and so you get those are. But we didn't put them as our number one go-to solution. Have your plan A, even plan B or plan C. Just have them in case it comes. You say Okbeo. But if he doesn't, let's go.
Okay.
We'll move ahead.
So if you're just joining in, you're listening to the Africa Farmer Stories, where we sort of profile and listen to the farmers, the people that are responsible for feeding us and keeping us alive. And we've had two great people, and we're speaking with Goru Wilson right now. And in rounding up, Goru, what place do you see technology playing in helping farmers succeed?
I would say first, before we talk about technology, I think infrastructure first. Because technology will work on infrastructure we have. You understand? For example, now, in the last 2 weeks, we are finding it difficult to even enter our farm because the road that leads into the farm, into the Vugate village, have been cut off due to the dualization of the Kefi Makodi Road. Now, I have a challenge of getting into my farm or having access to my farm because there are no roads, there is no power. You understand? If I tell you the amount of money we spend on diesel running our factories, you will ask us, how are we still in business? You understand? So before we get into the how to leverage on technology, yes, we are leveraging on technology. It's technology that brought us all investors together. When we do some sort of collaboration, it's still technology that we use. But the real thing I want to tell every African or Nigerian farmer is localized solution. That has helped us a lot. That has helped us a lot. I wish I can show you machines in our farm. We have a fabrication unit because why did we do that? When we started rice processing, we bought the rice boilers and stores. We brought them into the farm, and one developed an issue. When we are calling the technician to come, it took the technician 2 weeks for the person to come and fix it. And that had a lot of, you know what all that does, time in production.
Yeah.
We didn't meet up targets and all that. And that is a cost on us. So we had to look back and say, okay, these things are easy to fix. Eventually the guy didn't come. And we sat down, can we not fix this thing ourselves? And we called the local welder and said, okay, sit down. Do this, can you do this? And the guy fixed it. And said, okay, that is how we moved from. So now what we do in the farm is if we have one machine that was not made by us, we will sit down and modify it and make more of it. Now slowly all our boilers, our rice boilers are made by us, by the fabrication units we have on the farm. From the carpenters to the welders, we fabricate almost everything we use that has to do with steel and so. We don't go through the conventional way of building this thing like. Our rice factory was built with blocks and just the wood. We did not go and look for money to start doing steel bars and all that. All those are. The thing is the place serving the need? How do you do business in a cheaper way? Is it serving your need? Is the rice factory clean? Yes, it is clean. Is Gate Gold rice tasting like the one that was done in a metal or no? So Nigerians need to realize that you need to go back to the roots. Look at our local solutions. Like that is what has helped us in the farm. When we came with our whole 21st century agronomy stuffs and all that, I won't lie to you, the first season it didn't work very well. But we had to call the local farmers. They are used to this place. Okay, how do you do it? Okay, this is how you do it. We think it can be done better if we infuse this or we modify this and we do this. So we first of all need to, our local technology, let's explore them. Yeah. I don't need to go to China to get a rice process. I don't need to go to China to get a machine that will do yam flour for us. I Our young flour machine was fabricated locally.
Yeah.
Almost everything now in that factory is fabricated locally.
Okay.
So we need to leverage on local technology. Those of us that are doing wedding and fabrication and all that, our graduates should leave too much sending of CV and all that. Create something. Look for see, there's a lot that can be done in the agricultural value chain. Farmers we need dryers to dry stores, we need cutters, we need a lot of things. Go and fabricate these things. Let's stop importing almost everything and save our forex.
Yeah, so I have to stop you there. We've run out of time, Goru. Thank you so much. If there's anything anybody took from what you said, is about, leveraging on localized solution, homegrown solutions to our problems. We cannot be waiting for, the Chinese solutions or the white man in quote to come and solve our problems when we have the expertise to solve our problems. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
In this docuseries, we'll try to have this every Wednesday by 4 p.m. And we hope to bring on more farmers to come tell the stories of how they are feeding the nation and feeding the continent as we battle COVID. Have a lovely week, everybody. Bye.
All right.